All eyes on the island across the pond on Balmoral and the Queen. This is following confirmation this morning. The Queen's doctors concerned for Her Majesty's health and have recommended she remain under medical supervision. The Queen remains comfortable and at Balmoral. Prince William, Prince Andrew, Prince Edward, Sophie Wessex on their way to Balmoral and are expected to arrive there in the next few minutes. Vincent McAviney is with me, the London-based journalist. Vincent, what is the latest on the Queen?
Well, the latest in the past 10 minutes is that we've seen Prince William, Prince Edward, the Queen's fourth son, and his wife, the Countess of Wessex, Sophie, and Duke of York, Prince Andrew. They have landed now in Balmoral on that specially chartered RAF jet, and they're on the journey in a convoy at the moment to the palace at Balmoral, the Queen's holiday residence there. It'll take them around 35 minutes to make that journey. Where already we know that Prince Charles and Camilla are already there beside the Queen. So that is the very latest we have. We understand as well that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who of course are over in Europe to do a number of charity arrangements, are making their way. There was some thought that they might have also been on that plane, but they seem to be making their own way there to Aberdeen Airport and then on to Balmoral.
I mean, people here will understandably tie themselves in knots about how this gets covered because of our complicated history on this island with Britain. But it's right what you say. And the fact is, I mean, she forms part of the cultural tapestry, not just of the United Kingdom, not just of these islands, the cultural tapestry of the world. She's arguably the most famous person, certainly the most famous woman on the planet, isn't she?
Yes, and I think when you look back in history, queens disproportionately weigh on British history because the whole institution of monarchy is set up very much so that you have male heirs, but we have these periods, Queen Elizabeth I, Queen Victoria, and now Queen Elizabeth II, where you have these quite long reigns and quite impactful reigns, and they do stand out against the male monarchs, it has to be said, and she is someone who has earned a huge place in history, and not in her reign, but the changes in which she is presided over, going from being at the time presiding over an empire in dissolution, building a Commonwealth of Nations, trying to forge links around the world and keep the sort of the link that Britain had in a rapidly changing world. She's presided over much and much change as well here in the United Kingdom, socially, societally. You just have to look. She's now on her 15th Prime Minister. I saw a remarkable stat today that her first Prime Minister, Winston Churchill, was born in 1874, and her new Prime Minister, Liz Truss, was born in 1975. So the range of her time and those of her Prime Ministers that have served her as well is an extraordinary amount of time. But as you say, she is, someone that I think whilst the Institute of Monarchy, and I speak as someone who's both British and Irish, that knows the history, have had conversations with the Irish family about this. I think whilst there is, a lot of questions over the future of monarchy, even in Britain, there's rising questions in sort of people under 40 about whether we continue with this. The polling does reflect. I think there will be very few who can doubt that, this is a person who has touched the lives of many.
It's a remarkable reign in terms of its longevity, and it's fascinating, as you say. Winston Churchill, born in 1874, the first Prime Minister she met, and Liz Truss, the most recent, only on Tuesday of this week. And to think that she was born and would have had her worldview formed during kind of the Stanley Baldwin era of the tinkling of the blacksmith's hammer, around England, and the image of that country today. I think you put it very well, Vincent, when you give us a sense of just how significant culturally it would be her passing, despite people's own views on the monarchy.